Well, that was a game seven. Congrats to Miami. Now we're getting to Heat Nuggets finals, which I think is going to be really fun. And yeah, I just feel deflated right now, man. I mean, I'll credit Miami and we'll talk about it all, the whole thing, but I mean, the feeling Heat fans had after the last one, that's how I'm feeling right now. The reason this is not a more like visceral reaction, if you will, is because this game felt over by, I don't know, mid third quarter or whatever. So there's stuff to talk about between Caleb Martin and Jimmy and all that nice stuff and Bam's defense, but like, yeah, let's start with Tatum and the ankle. I mean, look, if you scan the internet, I'm sure you're going to find some people who say that this is the only reason the Celtics lost this game, and I'm sure you're going to see other people who say it doesn't matter at all. And like most of the time when talking hoops, I'm just going to find myself in the middle opinion. I think it mattered, and also there's a bunch of things that you can praise the Heat for in this game, criticize the Celtics for in this one between shot selection and process on offense. And yeah, Jimmy was dealing with his ankle as well. As far as how bad it was compared to Tatum's or whatever, like, I don't know, man. So yeah, I do want to start with the Heat defense. So in the first half, it was a lot of switching on the ball, and it really bothered the Celtics offense, right? And I think Bam, like he ended up not making a whole lot of shots in this game, and there was even like a little roast session for him on Twitter. I thought his defense was great in this game. I mean, there were possessions where he was on Marcus, some where he was on Jalen, just whenever he was involved in the action for the most part, it just kind of froze the Celtics offense, And there were also times where, like early on when they would bust out the zone occasionally, he'd be in the middle and then it'd be like Horford in the middle, and then it's like, well, they're staying home on shooters, so it's just Bam guarding Horford, and he did a good job like guarding a couple of Horford stuff around the rim. Like, yeah, Rob got a couple of rolls or lobs, sure. But still, I feel like Bam held up really well defensively. And, of course, late there was that one where he was switched onto Jalen in the corner. Jalen tries to hit him with the crossover, just loses the dribble, and yeah, I mean that's a bit of a conversation to have. Jalen against this Heat defense, whether it be switching damn near everything or everything on the ball, off the ball, whatever. Whenever Bam ended up on him, the amount of times that Jimmy stripped Jalen in the series, poking the ball from behind or whatever. Like, yeah, it's the one big hole with Jalen's game. And the dude's awesome, and I mean, I already did my whole spiel about how I want him back after, game 3, and I still want him back, still give him the money and all that. But yeah, against a smart defense with switchability in the zone and all that, like, this is what can happen. There is one play from the Heat zone that I want to call out before I start yelling at the Celtics a little bit. It was in the fourth quarter. I think this was a zone play, because again, they used it a little bit more in the second half. And so Caleb Martin picks up Derek White early on in the possession. While this is happening, Duncan Robinson is denying Jalen the ball in the corner. Like, pretty good start to the play. Eventually swings to Tatum. He tries to get a screen from Horford. The Heat put 2 on the ball on Tatum, and then from there it just becomes a matter of, can we swing the ball enough times to get an open look? And like, Marcus got a corner 3 that was okay with a decent closeout from Caleb Martin. If you're the Heat, that's a win of a possession, He missed the 3 if that wasn't obvious. So I know that everybody's been giving Spo's praises, but the dude just really deserves it, man. I mean, this Heat team, the 8th seed, I mean, it's a crazy run. Like, I know the history conversation leaned more towards the 0-3 comeback, but this is history as well. How many 8th seeds make the finals? It's not a lot. Anyway, let me say some things about the Celtics. They took a decent number of frustrating threes in this game, and as I always say with it, I'm cool with the amount they take, assuming that it's not like over the top, as long as the attempts are good. And I don't know how many threes they took with a defender in their face, or just like one pass versus the zone into a 3-point attempt, but it was just a lot, man. And sure, there are obviously going to be like some misses that are good shots, right? Like, you get Horford in the middle of the floor, and then it's a swing to somebody in the corner, and there's that opening in the zone, and you miss the 3. It's like, okay, you're going to have to live with some of that stuff, I understand, but yeah, the 3 that I remember, one was Marcus just kind of backing up on a play, and then just shooting a quick 3. Another one was Jalen had 2 of them. One in the corner, just kind of sizing up Jimmy, go for the 3. Another one, basically the same thing from like the top of the key. I don't know, man. As for the other side, look, Caleb Martin just continuing his masterclass of a series in scoring within the flow of the offense between catch and shoot threes, attacking off the catch, transition stuff, and having just enough juice to make something happen himself, right? Like, you had that play at, was it end of the third, end of the first half, whatever, where he takes Tatum baseline and then Jimmy screens for him underneath the basket, and the Celtics were a little slow on the switch out to him. And then he hits like a turnaround, 11-footer or something. Another one where Jimmy was backing down Derek White, swing to Martin, pump fakes to get Grant Williams in the air, and then takes like a sidestep 3. As for Jimmy, I mean, the way they were guarding him wasn't super different from the last few games, right? Where Horford and Rob are switching on him more often. He's still going to get like the Derek White switch, and I mean, there were some pull-up jumpers in this one where he would take like a pull-up three when the switch was occurring because there's that little window sometimes to take a shot. And that can continue the conversation of what happens to Jimmy Butler to make him a better playoff three-point shooter than regular season one sometimes. I don't know. But also, he had a little bit more success in this one and like going to Derek White in one-on-ones. Like Derek White still held up okay, but like there was at least like one or two floaters that he made over him where he got to his spot. He did the thing. One where he takes Rob just in a straight line, doesn't really try to mess around with pump fakes or anything, and just gets like a 12-footer over him, a little bit of space. So there's that. And there was also that mini run, which felt like a lot in the first half when the Celtics were dropping screens, where it's like Lowry hitting a pull-up three. Vincent had a layup when Horford was like sticking to Bam a little too much. We had a Duncan Robinson Bam handoff action for a three. So yeah, kudos to the Heat. And, them versus the Nuggets, definitely going to be a good time.